Happy Thursday, everyone. As promised, today we are going to be making molasses ice cream sandwiches. So it is starting to warm up. I don't know where you are, but our temperatures have been a little bit warmer. I think we've been about 78. I know some places in California are up to 90s and 100s right now. And so I thought, what better sweet, delicious, cooling treat than to make these delicious cookies. Now, I want to first start by telling you one of the reasons why I chose molasses cookies is this recipe has very low sugar, and I find that ice cream sandwiches can be kind of too sweet, honestly. They're a little overpowering. So one of the things that I love about this recipe is the molasses cookies are really low sugar. They're delicious, but they're not overpowered with the ice cream. So I love this combination. You can really mix it up lots of different ways, but this is really, for me, one of my favorite ways. And so let's go ahead and get started. So as our base, I am going to be using 2/4 cups of tiger nut flour. And if you know me, you know that I love tiger nut flour. It is my favorite flour alternative. And I'm gonna take just a minute. Tiger nut flour tends to be really kind of clumpy, and so I like to break it up a little bit, as you can see. Now this recipe makes 8 to 10 cookies, depending upon how large you like them. And so you can kind of experiment. I'll show you the size that mine come in. Okay, so I'm gonna break that up. I have my 2/4 cup of tiger nut flour. And then I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of arrowroot. So we'll just get that mixed in there. And then we have a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, some people like to add ginger. Again, I don't want this to be too overpowering with our ice cream. I like to personally be able to taste all the flavors. So if you wanted to add ginger, you can do a teaspoon of ginger in this recipe as well. So I just have the cinnamon. Okay. And then I'm also going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So whenever you're making, any pastries, cookies, cakes, pies, you want to always mix your dry ingredients first. And a lot of times I'll mix the wet ingredients in a separate container, but this is a simple recipe, so I'm just going to mix all of my dry ingredients and then add my wet ingredients into this mixture. Okay, so it's all broken up. It's nice and blended in here. Now I have a 1/4 cup of unsweetened applesauce. So that will go in next. And then I have a 1/4 cup of coconut oil. And I have one tablespoon of molasses. That is our sweetener for our molasses cookies. And again, I told you, you can add a little bit more molasses in this recipe if you'd like. I don't want it to be overpowering. And so I'm just going to add in 1 tablespoon. And to get the recipe for the ice cream, if you didn't catch the live dairy-free recipe cooking that I did last week for the ice cream, it's delicious and goes perfect with these cookies. Now I'm just going to mix all of these together, making sure that I mix up all of the clumps of the tiger nut flour. And you'll notice that this recipe, this dough, is not going to be big and thick. So if you think of like making chocolate chip cookies or snickerdoodles, you'll a lot of times have the dough, it'll be nice and clump and thick. This isn't. So you can see the consistency is a little wetter, okay? That is what's going to help us flatten the cookies and make them a nice, not too big and thick, right? That would be a little hard to open and bite into. So again, I'm just gonna make sure that I have all of those clumps broken up. Nice. So I don't know about you, but we are enjoying a little bit of nice warmer weather right now. It's been so beautiful and so nice out. Okay, so I have my cookie sheet, and I'm just gonna take a tablespoon of the dough and place it on my cookie sheet. And I'm gonna spread it out because I want them, again, not to be too thick. I want them to be a nice thin consistency for my ice cream to fit inside. And I'm sorry I had to start live a little early today. I actually have a termite man coming to my house. And this was the only time he could come, so I had to take what I could get. Really want to get rid of those little nasty little bugs. Okay, so I'm just flattening these out. And the beauty is, they don't have to be perfect, right? It's gonna be about the flavors. I'll show you this. And again, 6, 8, 10 cookies, depending upon the size. I'm going to do 6, and I'm gonna flatten these out. I'm gonna add a little bit more to each one, make them a little larger, but again, making sure that I'm keeping them nice and flat. Move this over here so you can see a little bit better. Because we want them to be a nice size. And make sure that you try to keep them roughly the same size so that when you make your sandwiches together, they will be a nice thickness and size. Okay, so as you can see, there are my 6 cookies. And I preheated my oven to 325. We're gonna bake these for about 12 minutes at 325. You don't want them to be overcooked. You wanna make sure that you get them in that just right spot. And I'm gonna show you my finished product. So there are the cookies. And I've taken a scoop of the ice cream, the chocolate dairy-free ice cream that we made last week. I've placed it in the middle, so when the cookies come out, let them completely cool. When they are done cooling, take a scoop of your ice cream. Now, this ice cream tends to be fairly hard, so what I did is I took the ice cream out of the freezer, let it set, get a softer consistency, and then I took a scoop of it, placed it between the cookie, and then you'll place it back in the freezer so that it can get set again. I also like to put the cookies in the freezer in between putting the ice cream in so they set a little and they're more firm. So remove the cookies from the oven, let them completely cool. When they're completely cooled, place them on a tray in the freezer, let them get to a nice, just nice thickness, a nice hardness, sorry, not thickness, a nice hardness. And then when they're ready, take out your ice cream, a scoop of it, you'll then put it in the middle of your cookie and you have molasses, chocolate, ice cream, cookie sandwiches. So I hope that you enjoy these. Like I said, low sugar, delicious, packed full of goodness, perfect for these hot days and even around the fire pit at night. You can have like a little fire instead of s'mores. Make these delicious cookie treats and pack them up, have them for a picnic, put a little ice inside, and you're good to go. So I hope you try them. Take a picture of your finished product as always, because I want to see what you're doing. I want to see, do you mix up the cookie? Do you do it any differently? I want to know how you're doing it. So follow me along at Whole Living with Wendy, where I will post the recipe and all the details. And look for my cookbook coming out later this fall. It's going to be all of these paleo recipes that will be wholesome goodness for our families to enjoy, good, healthy, sweet treats. So thanks again for joining me. Sorry I had to start a little early today, and stay tuned tomorrow. Tomorrow we are making grain-free pizza, delicious with homemade sauce. So join me tomorrow, 11:30 Pacific, live Cooking with Wendy. Thanks so much.